everybody, welcome back to Row Country. For today you're going to need this bright hair headband from the Dollar Tree, this pack of socks from the Dollar Tree, 1 pound of these white beans from the Dollar Tree, 1 pack of these golf balls, you're only going to need one, also from the Dollar Tree, and then some scrap fabric. I picked this up at Walmart. It was $1.47 for a 18 by 20. Some of these stickers from the Dollar Tree, they're the wooden stickers. Some are finished, some are not. You're also going to need some jute twine from the Dollar Tree. And then of course you're going to need some scissors and a glue gun. So today we're going to go ahead and jump in. We're going to make the gnome that I made for my little 1.5 tier tray. So we're going to use that headband. I want to show you though that they have this really glued down very well. So if you flip it over, you'll find a piece that kind of isn't glued all the way, and that was my starting point. And what you have to do is really just give it a pretty good tug. Try not to separate the actual hair from the piece that it is sewn to. And I'm going to tell you, this is the hardest part of the entire DIY. I'm not even kidding. But eventually it started to come loose for me, and I was able to get it separated from the headband completely. Now, you're going to see there are some of these posts that are kind of holding that headband in place to make it stand up. And so again, you just want to keep moving your fingers and manipulating the glued part. And you'll see there that you can finally just get it separated off of the headband. Again, the hardest part of this entire project. So we're going to use this for the gnome's beard. Now to make the body itself, we're going to use one of these socks. I picked the men's socks because I wasn't sure how big of a sock I would need for the beans and also for that beard to hang. I turned the sock inside out because I like the texture of the inside out sock, if that makes sense. I did go ahead and trim away some of that extra stitching that was there just so that it would sit flat. Now, super easy, guys. You take the sock and you roll it up, and then you take the bag of beans and you place the sock over the bag of beans. And there we go, the beginning of a gnome body. So I just made sure that I lined up the stitching on the toe at the bottom. And instead of cutting off the extra at the top, I'm going to use that to give my hat some weight. You'll see later. So all I did was I went to the top of the bag of beans and took some twine and tied it off. Super, super easy. And when I was done, it looks like this. And so what I like to do then is to imagine where the gnome's shoulders would be, and I'm going to start gluing on the shoulder up towards the top. I'm only going to attach one side at this point, but we want to try to get that in place so that we can then add in our nose. Now we're going to use one of these little golf balls. They do have a seam that you want to avoid using, so when you place it, you want to make sure that it's a non-seam side. Just add some hot glue to that little golf ball and go ahead and place it in the spot where you think it's going to look best. And you want to be sure that when you come up to glue at the other shoulder side, that you're wrapping the nose and then gluing that other side of the beard in place. Now, actually, just like the socks, you can choose any fabric you want. This is going to be for the gnome's cap or hat. I picked this up at Walmart. Since I'm using my gnome for fall, I thought this would be the perfect addition for him. And so what we end up doing is we have to do what is a wraparound. I don't know how else best to explain it. It's like a cone, but it's not quite a cone. And I want to finish the edges on these before I begin wrapping. So all I do is flip the fabric over and add some hot glue. I don't measure down how far or anything. I just kind of flip it over and use the hot glue to make a nice seam there. And at that point, I'm going to turn him over, and we're going to start in really what's the midline of what would be his back. And that will be my first glue down seam, would be right there. I don't finish that seam, but that is where we would start. Now, you can take that further down the back if you want to, but you don't have to. This is totally up to you. You can make this yours however you want. Now what I'm showing is when we wrap this around the front, we're going to do a seam again the same way, some hot glue, and we're going to turn it over. But then as we start to wrap, we're going to come back above the nose this time. So remember, we did the beard below. We're going to do the cap above. And I'll go ahead and let you watch the process here. And so now this is where the top of the sock comes into play. We're going to wrap the cap all the way around the top of that sock top, but we're not going to glue it to it. We're going to glue it completely around, and then we're going to come down and we're going to meet the corner down there where we first started. So we've kept the sock top in place, but we've glued around and we've finished off down there at the bottom. Now you're going to have all this extra up top. Don't worry about that right now. What's important is that we get the sock top up above, and we do a nice finish on that part of the fabric so that it looks like a nice finished seam. Now that we have everything kind of glued down and we have like a little cone over the top of that sock, we want to wrap down towards the base of the hat to start to give it some definition. Now I think I come up about an inch, maybe an inch and a half, but this again is going to be personal preference for you on how you want your little hat to work. And I just pulled off some twine. I didn't measure. I just grabbed as much as I thought I could possibly use. And then I come to the back and put down a dab of glue and go ahead and set my end of the twine in that glue. Don't burn yourself. I've done it a lot of times. But once that's set up, we're going to go ahead and just start to wrap around. And again, we're just trying to make some definition on this little hat to begin the base. And you'll see I've gone around quite a bit here, and then I end up gluing it off in the back. And so now that we have the base done and I've gone ahead and glued everything down, everything is set, we're trimming that off, and I'm going to come up and now I'm feeling for the top of that sock. Remember I said that that was really important that we tried to keep that above, and the reason being is because it's actually going to give the hat some extra fullness, a little bit of weight, and some more definition. But how we're going to make that is to go ahead and do what we just did down below. We're going to start in the back, put down some twine, and wrap it around to give it a little more definition here as well. So now our little gnome has the first two parts of his hat complete, but we now need to finish the length. And what I'm doing here is just kind of deciding really just with my fingers how far down I'm going to be able to come. And we're going to go ahead and do another twine wrap down here at the bottom. This is going to be the base for the finishing touch on the hat. You'll notice we've gone round and round and round with some twine, and we're going to go ahead and glue it off down there at the bottom. Now, when we have finished wrapping that to our liking, we want to go ahead and trim off all this extra fabric. And it was pretty easy with my scissors in this fabric since it wasn't very thick. And you want to stay as close to, I guess, what would now be the top of where we wrapped. And now we're going to just take some random twists and turn of that twine with some hot glue and go ahead and cover up the bottom of that where we cut it off, so just so that it's finished off. And now, if you remember that little wooden Dollar Tree sticker, we're going to go ahead and put some hot glue on that and add it to the bottom of the hat, which I think finishes off the hat pretty well. I think it's a really cute addition. Another thing I decided to do was go ahead and flip up the beard and add some hot glue. I felt, just for my own personal preference, that it would be better to have that glued down. So I just added some hot glue to the body and then quickly folded down just as easily as I could the beard and fluffed it out a little bit. I think that turned out really, really cute. But then I decided to give the hat even more definition by bringing the two twine wrapped pieces at the top together and wrapping those together as one piece. Now he kind of looks like he's got this little bun on the top and then the tassel down at the bottom with his cute little glitter pumpkin. This is a side view for you, and here's the back. Now again, remember, you can take this hat down as far as you want in the back or the front. It's really up to you on where you place that. And here he is in my 1.5 tier tray. Guys, I'm so thankful that you stopped by my channel today to check out my DIY Dollar Tree gnome for fall 2019. Please give me a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!